Hi everyone, how's it going? Today we're going to talk about money and getting more resources for you in the Blender community, specifically getting more free resources made so that you can get access to stuff without having to spend any money. We're talking about getting updates on things like the free add-on projects, material packs, etc. We're going to talk about keeping you aware of new resources being made in the community and also me opening up Freelance. So money. Obviously, money is getting a little bit harder for people nowadays because of the cost of living crisis. It does also seem to be affecting how many people are buying like Blender related products and tools, which kind of makes sense. You know, there was like a COVID high and then this cost of living crisis being a bit of an existential problem. Maybe some people worried about like long-term investments with things like AI and stuff like that. But the Blender community is still growing. It just seems like the market forces change. One of the really nice things about the Blender community is there is so much free stuff available, like people to learn from and play with. And I have historically liked being a part of that. However, it's always been a bit tricky trying to kind of balance the philosophy of providing free things and also needing to make money at the same time. I've never been like the kind of person that grinds out maximum wealth, but sadly I do need to make money. And, you know, I've kind of tried to keep some core principles applied. I don't take sponsorships on this channel, except for that casual sponsor system that I have, which is where I only select people like in our community. And typically the demands aren't very strict about what I have to say because I don't charge them as much as like a corporate sponsor. The reason I don't really take sponsorships is A, the contracts. Do I need to explain that? Or you can fill it in with your imagination. The anxiety of being held to a contract and also performance expectations when YouTube is such a volatile thing and this channel struggles with the recommendation system on YouTube anyway. And also I just don't like throwing sponsorships in your faces. If it's not relevant to you, like why do I want to talk about a wallet? You know, but maybe I'll have to in the future, but probably not. So that's why I talk about my own products. That's why I make my own products. You know, there's always like a compromise somewhere. You don't get random things pushed in your face. And at the same time, I get to make products that are relevant to the community. Anyway, so about the free stuff, though there are phases where I really do want to work on them, it is difficult to justify it with that business oriented side of the personality. Like there's an artist side of me that just wants to make whatever I want. There's a reporter side that takes what I make and then kind of optimizes it for online and business benefit and all of that. And there's this kind of agency side that helps to kind of direct the creative flow of things. That business side of me is quite harsh on spending time on completely free things, which I think is a shame, right? Because it's hard to raise money for free things. But that's kind of where like the Patreon makes sense as being like, well, if there was a wage for you to make free things for people, that should be it. Typically, when I've spoken about the Patreon in the past, that money has kind of been described as supporting everything I do, which is technically true, but I think it would be beneficial to actually consign it a purpose, as in the Patreon income will become my monthly wage to work on free things for everyone. At the moment, it's about $275, which I can't say, hey, that's a lot, hey, that's not much, because it's not really fair making judgments on like charitable donations. But that's what it is, about $275, which is about £200. So when thinking about a wage, I never ever like spoken about what I would want my hourly rate to be, because I think people like to keep that kind of secret. But again, you might know this from like the casual sponsor system where I have this grading tier of what I would charge people depending on who they are. Like independent artists, I wouldn't charge as much as like large corporations. For things like skill-based work, I've always thought the range could be quite large. I'm sure there are people that, you know, they have a flat fee like, oh, £125 an hour or something, no matter what they do. I think about it much more like this. For some reason, £75 an hour has been this number in my mind for moderately skilled work. So that's specialized skills that not many people have, but not used to the ultimate intensity. So basically you're a specialist, but we're still cruising, that kind of thing. And keep in mind, these numbers will probably change over time. I think about £50 as like moderate skill and still kind of cruising through the work. Then I'd be upwards of 100 for super specialist, and also relatively high intensity. So that might be things like specialist Python add-on development and also designing algorithms for certain types of like generation tools, because that requires a specialist knowledge. Now again, that'll be like a changing thing. I'm sure there'll be artists that are watching like, oh, you need to charge more. And people are like, whoa, you can charge that much? Like, you know, there are people from all sides of the fence. It doesn't really matter to me. So what I'm thinking is, because free things are tools that require like mixed skill sets, some of the free tools are add-on based, some are like artistic resource based. 50 was kind of what I had in mind for like the mixed skill set, mixed intensity, etc. So if we say that £50 an hour is my wage amount for working on tools and resources for free, and then we take the Patreon income and divide it by that. So at the moment it converts to about £200. So obviously that's 4 hours. So this month I should spend 4 hours working on free things for the community. So that's my idea for resolving this weird kind of dichotomy thing where you want to work on free things, but you can't justify it. So what I'm doing psychologically psychologically is saying this Patreon income is the wage. Quite similar to how the Blender has its dev fund and the dev fund becomes the wage for the Blender developers. This can be our little micro version of that. In theory, the Patreon income still helps to support everything I do, but in principle, it'd be nice to say, okay, well, that's the wage for this. So I don't know exactly how I'll present that. I might do a video, which might be like a compilation of clips over those 4 hours, just to demonstrate visually that, hey, today we're working on that. But that's just the first thing I want to let you know about. Maybe that will encourage some people that do have funds available to also like increase the Patreon amount. And maybe when I start doing that, I'll make that earning amount public on the Patreon page so you can actually see it. So that's getting new free things done. Next up, I am opening up freelance services. The reason for this is, as I might have mentioned in a previous video on graphics design, I don't want to become a completely full-time freelance worker yet, but I do want to test and see how well it can integrate into my workflow. Also, there are times in between when I release like products and updates where there are big like dips in earnings, obviously. So it'd be nice to kind of supplement the inner time with potentially income generating experiments. So on codesol.online/services, I have a very basic services page where you can like access forms for different types of skill sets and basically just register your interest. Not all of my skills are highlighted on that services page, but I did have this thing where I've wanted to try experimenting with freelance many times in the past, but I keep putting off building a nice services portfolio, partly for self-sabotage reasons, but I figured if I wait until that's finished, then I'll be waiting forever. So there's a very basic services page, but if there's anything else you think I can help you with that's not listed on there, go to my contact page, just submit a general form, and we can talk about it. So what can I do for you? Well, obviously, I'm a high-level Blender user. God, that sounds so egotistical, but I think I've earned it. I can do Python, although that's not the most fun thing to do for other people. Python is more of a means to an end. I can do 3D modeling. I might not be the best modeler, but I am very good at presentation, which kind of leads on to one of my fields of expertise, which is obviously digital lighting. So I've demonstrated a particular style when it comes to lighting. It's something that I don't think everyone in the community can actually do, because what I've noticed from doing like physical lighting products like Afterglow is that people do find it quite tricky to work with because it requires a slightly different skill set to regular lamp objects. So on that matter, I can build you bespoke lighting systems and lighting tools, physically based, just like my Afterglow work, that are exclusive to you. Also, just intellectually speaking, or informationally speaking, I know a crap ton of people in the Blender community, and I'm kind of tightly connected with a lot of people in the development space. So though I hate to use the word consultation because it's got such a weird reputation now for some reason, a thing to do with consultants that don't know what they're talking about, we can do consultations, and I can connect you with people in a way that I don't think other people necessarily could, just given my position. And if we did consultations, I'll take notes from like what I've learned from the medical community as well. I'll write you a report of our consultation if you want to do that. So let's talk procedural materials. I'm quite an expert on procedural materials now. Obviously, we got a hex scatter tool. I've done a whole bunch of procedural material work, and I'm constantly experimenting with new approaches to it. Or generally, I can just do a lot of busy work as well. You know, I had a request from someone before that wanted me to help convert materials from one software to Blender, but they had the data ready to do that. They weren't prepared to pay the rate, but still I thought, yeah, I can do that because I know how this works. Another thing I'm quite good at is actually just identifying where tools can be made. Like a lot of the things I've done, not everything, but a lot of things have been quite original, like original ideas, novel solutions to problems, etc. It's not exactly something that is usually put on like a skills page, but problem solving for obscure workflows is probably something that I think I excel in. Bit of a weird thing to market though. So generally, a lot of what I've described kind of fits into many fields, especially visualization. Like I've said in the past, I'm really interested in trying scientific visualization, and I will do some projects related to that. So if you're like an educator and you need, you know, diagrams or cover imagery for like magazines, research papers, whatever, I can do that and it will probably look sick as hell. The only thing that I'm not particularly versed in is animation. It's the only kind of subset of Blender that I've kind of let slip by because it's such like a wide field. I can do basic animation, I can do camera animation, I can fly things around, I can do like procedural/parametric type animation in some cases, but like bone rigged animation is not particularly my field. That is something I could learn, but I've never demonstrated like animation as a skill anyway. I am very much a presentation kind of person when it comes to 3D skills. So that's the second thing. So number one, Patreon wage for free products products. Number 2, testing opening Freelance to try and see how it fits into my workflow. And number 3, product insight. So in the past, I've kept you informed on other products other product developers in the community have been making. And it's been kind of nice. I've done it via affiliation where I get a cut of like the products when I help to share them. So obviously I speak to product creators. They agree to set me up on a percentage. We get a referral link. This works through Superhive, Gumroad, and on bespoke course websites. I've had some problems kind of philosophically with the affiliate system in the past, just about fairness of compensation, because obviously you can spend like a week making a video for someone's product, but then if people don't click on that link, then you haven't really been compensated for that time spent on working on it, which is something that sponsorships are solutions for, because people just straight up pay you, for the work invested in making that. However, I still think they're useful, and I've been part of like the discussion process for how affiliate systems should work in the community. Actually, on that matter, I just got an email from Superhive. Sorry, Kyle, that I haven't responded yet. I may not have responded at the time of making this. Apparently, I'm one of the top affiliates on Superhive, so they've invited me to discuss like the system. Woohoo. But I would like to kind of get back into it, but in a new approach, something that kind of feels better. So in my mind, I'm calling this product site. Rather than just throw products at you with the intention of making money off of you, which is something that, whenever I've done affiliation in the past, I've tried to actually research the products, maybe do some demonstrations, talk about the creators of it, what I like about them, if we've had interaction, etc. It feels wrong doing it just for making money. I would like to have more intricate connection in a way of maybe if I'm connected to someone as an affiliate, like Smouse, for example. I really like Smouse. They are one of the few people that has access to my private Instagram stories, which is a badge of honor. I'm thinking maybe we keep track of them over time, like a trusted system. So when you watch videos where I'm saying, hey, this creator in the community has made this new product, you don't feel like you're just being pandered to all the time, and that we're instead making connections like, hey, let's check in on Smouse. Smouse, how's it going? What are you doing? What's your aims here? Do you have something for my community we can demonstrate? Do you have any special deals for my community? Maybe I can like negotiate deals and stuff. I want to get back into sharing other people's products and make sure that it kind of fits, so I'm getting compensated, but is also not pandering and doesn't feel like a sponsorship. Feels like we're all learning about what each other's doing. So I'm calling that product site. If you want to get involved on that, so if you are a product creator, add me as an affiliate. Aim for 30 to 50%, ideally 50, because again, most people don't use affiliate links. So there's no kind of initial compensation for the effort working on videos. Also, I tend to give 50% to affiliates to talk about my products if they are also product creators or close friends. So people like Markham, for example, Markham 3D on YouTube, really cool guy. Spent a lot of time with him on Blender Nest, our old Blender podcast. Whenever he talks about Afterglow, if he creates a sale, he can get 50% of that sale. If he wanted to, he doesn't have to. I haven't given 50% to everyone, but I do, as a matter of principle, give it to other product creators. I also like the idea of helping people kind of reach stability as well. So in theory, if someone made a channel strictly about my products, doing tutorials about my products, they could, again in theory, make a substantial income just through affiliation. Because if you think about it, the highest licensed tier version of Afterglow is $299. So half of that is $149, meaning that if someone can cause that sale to be made, they'd get $149 per Studio Unlimited sale. It's not like anyone would want to do projects strictly using my products. If anyone did want to, it'd be nice to, I don't know, maybe throw a bit of money in to help them get along with that. But I'm just interested in community connections. So anyway, I don't want to leave this going for too long. Those are the three things I wanted to talk about. Again, one, my Patreon income will now become transparent, as I will tell you what it is. I'll keep you updated. We'll divide it into a wage, and that should be how much time I spend working on free things for everyone every month. Secondly, I'm open to freelance now. Tell your friends, work with me. You never know exactly what extra benefits you might get by doing so. And thirdly, product insight. I'm thinking about re-increasing affiliate advertising on this channel, but in a friendly way that is more informative and more considerate of your attention. So yeah, if you made it this far through the video, put some kind of, I don't know, either money or like work related emoji, like a wrench or something, because everything is in the goal of productivity in the end. If you put that emoji in the comments, I'll see which of you made it this far. Have a great day, everyone. Also, speaking about the Patreon, you can sign up for free as well, which obviously won't increase the wage, but you will be able to get email updates every month about what's going on, just in case you want to stay in the loop. So have a great day, everyone. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.